Hello.
We're back.
Ladies and gentlemen, roosters and hens, and everything else in between, Cock Talk is back. And we have an interesting show tonight. A little bit not quite as funny as last week, but we got some things to talk about. We've got some interesting info on land and boost. We had a comprehensive tutorial dropped, and we'll probably get into the ins and outs of the food and the farming and all that. But as always, we are the Coop Collective. I am Tyler at MBF Express. We have Josh at Grateful Coops.
Yo.
Blake at Waddle Waddle Racing. Dave, Dad is off tonight. Gentlemen, how are we feeling?
Doing good. Better
than Monday, right?
Better, yeah.
Better than Monday, right?
So, better. I mean, I'm still like in limbo a little bit. I mean,
right?
I would still be upset if they said the drop is in 2 weeks.
Seems like it's not, so that's good, right?
And as we get into the tutorial here a little bit, it seems really complex. So that's even more of a reason, I think, to push it back, get everything. In fact, I wouldn't mind. I'll say it again. Let's see the public lands. Let us play around on that. Let us get used to how this food works, get it integrated into racing, and then let's drop the land.
Yeah, I'm interested in the fact that we got a lot more detail, and now I want to dive into even more of it. I want to feel like I understand what I'm buying, what I'm truly buying.
Exactly,
and we'll
what
get
we're
into
gonna
that,
get. Yeah, not only what we're buying, but what you have the potential to get, right?
Right, the use case and how it works and all that bit. I think the tutorial that we're going to go over in a little while really gets us a bit of a bird's eye view into it, but we still need some more. So, how you doing up there, Josh?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on upstairs, but
does anybody know what's going on upstairs?
There must be. It's either a vacuum or an air mattress. No, I
can't hear it.
Sure, right. That's good. We can't hear it. So
all I hear is.
So yeah, thanks for rolling through, everybody. Like and subscribe. Get those numbers pumped up a little bit. And we're not going to mess around too much. Let's get right into the dev blog and get a couple updates here about exactly what they told us, and then we'll FUD it.
Indeed. Shoot. All right, weekly development updates, something like that. Good day, Coop. I hope you're all having an amazing day and are ready for the latest development update. First things first, the land sale. After careful review of all the suggestions, we decided to do some changes to our mint mechanic. We're going to restructure things and make sure that our core players will get rewarded first. This means we are going to push back the mint date, and we'll share more details on this and our new mint mechanics when ready.
There is a specific word I'll point out in that paragraph, which is players. It doesn't say core holders.
Yeah. It does seem like from the suggestions chat. I know Josh dropped in his plan that he put down last week for the tiered breakdown.
And then Bob Jerry went into great detail.
Yes, he did. I actually,
and Ben F
have
as
those
well.
notes there too. Yeah. Some real good stuff from Bob.
Great stuff in there.
Yeah. And it seems like, we're all saying like there is a definitive core of everyday racers. There's another core of weekly racers, and then there's another smaller core of they show up for the tournaments and they do some here and there. And all of that whole group right there is, like we've talked about, maybe 200. And those are the ones that really that have been around. And it's not that holders shouldn't be rewarded. And I've even seen it being thrown around. I think Redhead Kingpen threw around the idea maybe there's a hybrid there where we can be chickens held plus races and some type of combination, because buying the chickens and holding them did get the game moving and started and funded, so they can't be ignored. But the racers that have been here, that have been not just grinding but keeping the game alive, that's where it needs to get focused, and I think that's where their brains are at. I'm hoping, at least. I'm hoping
my tiered mint still holds up.
It does. We'll see. Yeah, racers, holders, everybody else. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spiver brings up a good point. They really are only catering to like 30 or 40%. Maybe not even that. Maybe more like 20%. Of those ones
I'd
that
be curious to know how many birds of those 200 or so souls out there racing chickens, how many birds are actually in all those coops? Like how many birds are being held by that core group of racers?
Right.
I'd be interested to know that
Well,
number.
Out of the 200, I
Out
would
of the
say
200 that have had, what was the number, Tyler? Like 500 races?
I would
Yeah.
I would say the average, and I'm probably on the lower end of that, and I have 17 birds.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the average is probably somewhere in the range of like 30 to 40 out of those.
Be
I
interesting.
mean, of the
How many do you guys have now?
I just bought 4 more tonight.
28.
So what do you?
28.
How many do you have?
44.
Yeah.
43?
So there you go.
Yeah.
I would say average is between 30
But you
and
know
40.
what I like is there are a lot, and it's something I've kind of noticed. I see some coops that are just always out there racing, and then now the nice little update they did this week, they give us a couple more options and whatnot. You can just click on the coop and go right to their coop and see all their chickens. And I actually saw some coops where they have a ton of races, but they only have like 7 chickens. So
Yeah.
I want them rewarded as well, because they have been. I like the fact.
Yeah, it should be
that
by
people have lots
races
of-
ran in your coop. And here's
Yeah.
another thing this does. That penalizes those that have 2 coops, right? Split coops, because chances are you
Little bit.
ran on more,
Little
or
bit.
maybe you split them up so much that you don't even
Yeah.
hit one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Billy 420 said, and 100% the case, even with
What is the race number though?
Oh, sorry, 1 second. I just want to finish this up
Sorry.
here. Even with the tutorial that was dropped and the info and the magnitude in which land is going to affect the game and racing, 0.133 is still just way out of, like, it's not feasible in this market. I think we still want to drive that home. I don't want to be a broken record on this one, but like, it needs to be known that was so far way off, and we are excited, but for the right price, and especially for what's here. And if we eventually, that's why I really did love Josh's breakdown. When public comes around, they would need to pay 0.1, so be it. But those of us have been hanging around, that have been funding this thing and getting it running, we got to start seeing some legitimate benefits from holding and racing and all of that. So
Unknown knives. Unknown.
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
So. I was asked if they still trying to sell us on 0.133.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. That's the one thing
Doubt
we
it.
didn't get here. And Josh,
I doubt
go ahead.
that. Yeah.
We'll keep flying through this, and we'll
But
get a little more detail.
What do you guys think is a racing point of those active users? So like, how many races ran in a coop? I think we've had thrown around the number 500, but that seems way too low. That would
Well,
be
how many
easy to
races
hit.
are you at, Tyler? You've had about consistently 10 more birds or so than me, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're racing all of your birds.
I did for a while, which was stupid.
Like
but
I've got,
I'm about 8,500 races.
I think I'm close to 6,500 with 28. So
I know I would consider myself more of I race in spurts. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'll race for like
I do
2 weeks
too.
at a time every day. And then I'll go a week where I
Mhm.
race like 1 or 2
Yeah.
races total.
I have 87,
Just
70.
depends on how much money I've bled into the game already that
Let me
week.
see. Let me see what I got.
I have like 5 birds that I enter basically no matter what.
Randomly sell a chicken that
Yeah.
you forgot you had listed. Anyways, so in the meantime, they have updated their tutorial with more info about farming, food consumption, and how it ties into our core game. And we will get into that in depth a little later. The tutorial is going to be updated with more visuals and sneak peeks. But in the meantime, check out the link here, and that is in the Chicken Derby Discord in the announcements channel. In regular development news, earlier this week, we pushed the ability to see other users' coops now. Just click on their username in any of the race tables and see all they have. We'll also have another update, which will be coming next week, and that is being able to see wearables in wearables collection on our site. That'll be nice. And then this is the thing that I kind of wanted to get into mostly about the dev blog, was this updates planned for 2022.
Mhm.
And the first thing on the top of that list is marketplace launch.
I like to see that at the top.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing they're itemizing this, but still, I'd like to see that.
I would almost have to assume, and I know I shouldn't assume because it gives me false hopes, but I would almost think that wearables would be right around the same time as right after the marketplace. I would think we would have wearables very soon after that. The
I
next
would
thing,
think that's besides buying and selling chickens, I would imagine that'd be the first one. And I believe they say here we're going to actually be able to see the chicken, the wearables in our coops.
right.
We can't
Yeah, I
use them
said
yet,
that
but they're going to
before.
be on our yeah. So that's a cool thing. I think that so it's going to be a natural.
Steve Martin, also prop comic.
I'll leave. Run the show yourself. Sorry.
So the next thing here is the localization. They're gonna add the French and Spanish language options added to the site. Additional
Important.
music tracks. I'd really
Fun.
love to get with a Ross and we make our own sound effects. I think that should be taken into suggestion. Just saying. Additional music tracks, and then here this one thing that is interesting: food airdrop. Food airdrop. So, are we going to get to play around with some of these different foods that we'll find in the farming worlds before we get even close to land, or will this be after land? Thoughts? Just curious.
My guess is it's right around it.
I would think before.
Here's one thing you don't see on that list, whether it's in planned or ongoing, and that is anything about land drop.
Right. But they're still figuring that out. That
right.
is
Right. So like
undecided at the moment after suggestions, but they are taking suggestions into account.
That leads me to believe then, though, that food airdrop is going to come before land.
Yeah. It does seem like here that they listened to the community when the community was very obvious, very open about like, yeah, we need this thing optimized. I do see ongoing tasks, mobile optimization, ARG, race, talent balancing, tournaments. Like, yeah, these are things that we want and we need this game humming, running properly. They're hearing that. That's good. Music tracks, cool. Don't see anything about sounds for the talents yet, but I know there wasn't that.
I think that's probably what they
additional
need.
Music tracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's going to be sound effects.
Yeah.
Maybe even a new overlay music of,
different music.
Yeah.
Whatever you call it.
It'd be funny to hear like the music accelerate in like the last 15 or 20 meters, like almost like Mario when you're running out of time.
The Excite Bike. Somebody mentioned that off air, but
I did.
that would be some of that. Ding, ding,
round this thing out, Josh.
Sorry, getting distracted. My wife
good.
is texting me. Anyway, there are a few other things that we have planned too, but these are the ones with our top priority. Let us know what you think, and if there is anything you'd like to see within the next few months. Our development style is agile, so nothing is set in stone. That's the other thing I see. We've said this, we've hammered that these devs are great and all of that. That's just another thing, though, right there that I love. They are willing to listen to people, and some people would disagree that maybe they haven't quite fully listened to the community, but we have yet to see a lot of things, and they do like to hold things close to the vest. So
what I'll say
is they've earned my trust for the most part. It's not like I'm rushing to sell my
but what I'll say is this: I think they are good devs, very good devs. They're making a good game. It's fun. We all enjoy playing it. We like to see it a little more optimized than they're on it. Cool. But that's not where any of my uncertainty or frustrations lie in. All the frustrations are just like there was a time there where the communication really started to feel like it was, we were getting consistent, and these blogs are amazing. I love to have them, but consistent breakdowns of when things were coming, how things were coming, little updates here and there. I like seeing an itemized list of what they're working on. I'd like that to be something a bit ongoing. I know Dave mentioned the Trello board may be coming back, so we can see that again.
I would that.
Yeah,
I think
it's all
the Trello board was nice touch back then, and it should be something we should still be utilizing, in my opinion.
In the end, for me, it's just I totally understand playing the racing side of the game close to the chest. They don't want to give up the secrets, but the information about what's coming and how we can plan and we can prep. I just saw Reno. Yeah, I know it's a tough one for me tonight. Reno said,
Anyway,
I don't know what to say. Speechless for the first time ever. Like Reno said, I needed a certain number of races. I hope they give us enough time in advance. You know, that's the thing. As long as we see that we're getting a little bit more of that information in line over and over, like I'll feel more comfortable. And I think that's the basis where a lot of us were frustrated. We weren't hearing from them. We weren't understanding what they were doing. And then it was just like, oh, bang, here's 0.133 land drop. And we all kind of just exploded.
I think the flexibility with them as a double-edged sword, because I think that leads to us getting frustrated because a lot of the stuff that they're more like throwing a line out there and see how we feel rather than saying we're all in on this deal. Right. And so they're kind of, they're not even releasing it early. It's more of them basically asking us, hey, here's what we're thinking. Land drop soon at this price. What do you guys think about that? That if it would have been asked that way,
I didn't see it that way, right?
But that's in their mind. They're so flexible that's how they're willing to. Yeah.
No, I'm good. Keep talking.
But I think that I think that flexibility kind of can lead to a group being frustrated because there's no plan. I mean,
well, you know, I was having a conversation with Daniel, and I was just talking with him privately, and we were just going off stuff, bouncing stuff off each other, and like, you know, I and this isn't like a look at me kind of thing, but it's like, I own a business, and yes, it does kind of drive me nuts sometimes when someone tries to tell me how to do that job, but usually those people don't know a thing about the, you know, anything in their basement or home improvement or anything like that. For the most part, there are a lot of people in this space that have a lot to offer, that know a lot of stuff, that are tuned in to the Web3 space, to the NFT space, and how, you know, things kind of should work. There's a lot of people that are just that are actual coders that have amazing connections, like Daniel does at DraftKings. Like, that's an amazing connection. We should be taking advantage of that. Absolutely. And these are the kind of things that, you know, I like to see as far as, like, you know, them listening to us and hearing us. I just think we have a lot to offer. There's a lot of smart people in this community. You know, even when we all got frustrated during the spaces, I was so worried that spaces that Daniel started up was just going to turn into a total shit show, and it wasn't. It was super rational. There's a lot of good stuff there.
It was constructive.
You know,
yeah, it really was.
The reality is, if we could have had a drop when they wanted to, if they would have had the racing done and everything was smooth, I wouldn't have minded. It's all about the timing for me, right? Get the main focus core point of this. If that's racing, get that nailed down. Let's get that ironed out, and then start integrating little pieces to it, and then we can have a land drop. If that was already done up to this point, I would have been all for it, and I think most of the community would as well. I don't know about at that price, but the timing would have been a lot better anyways.
Thing is about that land, though, is we don't know how far along in development it is, or as far as
that's
in
true too.
Terms of where they're at with it. They could have been working on this at the same pace and time as
I'll
racing,
say this,
that we would have even known, you know.
But they haven't got racing done yet, though. So if land is there, why have they been working on land and not ironing out racing? And it's now we can get onto the land.
And maybe it's just doing too many things at once, and that's all right. And sometimes the creative mind can do that and can be all over the place. Hell, even I've said
Apex said he does usually know how to work with bootstrap funds and skeleton crews. So we know how many employees they have because they've told us, but to what they're all working on, I'm not.
If we had been running races right now, we're putting wearables on our chickens right now. There's the marketplace here. We could do land. I think the community would be ready for it at that point. But there's so many other things they promised and that are on this list ahead of us.
Yeah.
Let's get those knocked out.
In the world of infinite realities, I am very curious to know just like how the whole thing would have been perceived with a slightly lesser mint price. That was, you know, maybe still a little high for us, but you know, but they had the marketplace out. Like you said, the wearables are out, the racing was better. I would just be curious, you know, we'd still be like, okay, that mint price still isn't working.
Yeah.
But I don't think we would
there would be pushback. But it would have been
pushback, not uproar. We had total uproar last week.
There was still going to be pushback with that mint price and that mint just in general, even if it was a way better game and way everything. That's just where I'm at.
I agree. No, I think that
even if racing was polished and perfect and we've been marketing for a while now, I feel like we still would have been like,
so they got to hit 2 points. What we're saying is they got to have the timing right, and then they got to have the price right. If one of those is off, then the pushback is going to be big. And this time it was both were off.
The other thing I don't see on the list up there of ongoing, not so much ongoing tasks, but the updates planned for 2022, like, I think a lot of the community would just like to know a little bit about what the marketing strategy is going to look like. And I know that we're not in on the team, or everybody's not on the team, but even just some ideas or hints of what you guys are thinking as far as like how you're going to take this next level of marketing. How are you going to get this out to the masses? How are you going to advertise this game? And when might that be? Like, as soon as we get sounds, I would assume as soon as we have sounds, there's no reason not to be full blown marketing, man.
Because there's a real truth to this. If Twitter is going to be a large part of it, which I imagine it will be, then the community as a whole needs to get better at rating and pumping. But we need to know that's an important thing to do. We need to know that's where they're putting the resource, and then we can really get together and do that. But we also need more active people in order to do that. The catch-22 is apparent, but it's
to me. This is just me personally. Twitter doesn't count for the marketing. That's
Twitter's
just me.
A weird spot, man.
Because I'll tell you, it's gonna bring in the people that we're already reaching out to. You see, we're not bringing
where would you get those people? Like Google ads or like sports betting
well,
sites?
you just mentioned we have DraftKings people here. You have anything like that. You run a commercial during or do a DraftKings partnership tournament, whatever. There's places.
I actually feel like
we need gambling advertising on like random Google pages, but
get the gamblers.
Now is the biggest gambling time of the year during football season. So you hit them up during football.
And they're itching in the middle of the week. That's why they're betting Hawaii at midnight. Like they're itching for anything that's football they can bet on.
The hard thing is is if you're trying to not be a gambling game, it's hard to partner up with a gambling website.
Well, but I think but hold on, it is gambling, so that's just one piece of the pie. I think. I think the other is those people that play those normal games, the Farmvilles and all that, right? So Facebook. You're gonna be,
I think someone said, if your marketing attempt is going to be Facebook ads and Twitter things, I'm out.
That was Fledge. And speaking of that, as just to clean up the chat a little bit.
That's so Web 2 in a Web 3 world.
Just to clean up the chat a little bit here. Fledge says they're just finishing up image creation for the land, so functionality is probably going to be 0 right now. Ives then says, that's my concern. Minting land, then still waiting weeks or months to actually use it. Hasn't really been too clear. That's... And then Fledge with the marketplace is kind of the last excuse to hold off on marketing. And I agree with all of that. And that's kind of the frustrating part of, the land drop and everything that's coming through is just why, again, Blake has said it a billion times. We said it last week a bunch. Why now? Why now? If it's not functional, why not wait until it's functional? And then set up some really fun stuff for us to reach the goal of racing and setting up. I still just love the idea of a set number of races you have to try to get to, and it gives you a benefit. A lot of the people that have already, a lot of the people that have already got there will be fine. They won't need to do much more racing. But if we're trying to pull people back into the game, or that are holding on the side, that are just waiting, it's exactly the kind of way you do it. These aren't the flippers. They'll have their time. There'll be other drops. The holders, there'll be drops. But the people that are racing and want to race, creating volume, all that kind of stuff. That's once the game feels like it's moving and pumping. There's nothing worse than someone coming into this game and they buy a chicken and they can't really get races to fill. And
no kid wants a broken toy.
Yeah, that's
get the
fundamentals.
Toy that works.
All right, so
Chicken Derby Worlds.
Yeah, so I think it's fair enough there. We've kind of made that known. I think the sentiment of the community is hopeful, but we still would like to see something a little bit more polished, and then transparency on top of it. Just if it can be said to us without giving away secrets of racing, please do it.
Well, like Josh had mentioned the marketing and like what their ideas and plans are, but more so when, like, hey, we're gonna really start to crank out marketing in Q1 of next year. Give us
At least we
something like
know.
that.
At least we have an
Give-
idea.
you see what I'm saying? And so that tells me their timeline of, well, if that's the case, then all this other stuff should be in the line by then.
Mhm.
But that puts pressure on them to do that as well. And with their flexibility, probably a lot of flexible work environment, flexible,
Right.
things. When you're flexible, things get done at a flexible time, which is a long time.
Right.
Yep. So, with that being all said, and the discussion of worlds and land and all that fun stuff, I think it's time to move into the newly updated tutorial. And yeah, there is a lot to unpack here, and I guess we're gonna try.
That's we always skim through a lot of the stuff we've seen, and I think the updated stuff is definitely worth getting into.
So they're definitely sticking to the 13,000 plots of land. Assuming that's all predetermined with how they've got their coding and everything laid out and built to get it started, at least if they were ready to drop and go inside. But so the land, yes, it is 11 different worlds. Each world contains various boroughs, and each borough is made of 49 pieces of land. That's a lot. That's a lot of different stuff. And each one of those boroughs has its own different type of food and all that other fun stuff. And I think we've already gone over a lot of this stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, a lot of this is just a breakdown of
Did they update any of this? I kind of
There's really no.
I don't believe so. No,
there's no details in that really either. It just kind of shows the pictures and what they're
right.
called.
I don't think they updated anything. I skimmed through that before I got to the farming and food. When I read it the first time, I didn't see anything new there. I think it begins at farming.
Different. Let's go to farming.
Yep.
Because this is where it gets kind of like really
complex.
So, by farming in Chicken Derby World, you can grow your own crops. These crops can then be cooked together to create food, which then fed to your chicken can improve their performance in races. So, to start off, you have seeds. You grow your crops. Immerse first. Sow seeds onto your land's farming plots. Seeds are an NFT that can be gained by running races, purchased, and potentially obtained when harvesting crops.
And right there off the bat, I love seeing running races. Seeds can be obtained by running races. Incentivize people playing the game. Absolutely.
Yep. There are 25 different types of seeds at this time. So that means that number is not stuck at 25. It could evolve into more. Each grows into a different crop and at a different rate. Some seeds can only grow on specific worlds. In Chicken Derby Worlds, the initial seeds will be, and yeah, there are, like I said, there are 25 of them. The oat seed has a growth speed of fast and is not world exclusive. We got wheat seed.
Let's not go through all of them.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot here.
Well, this brings up
yeah, go ahead.
Because
seriously though,
one thing we had talked about in our early episodes was a period where to keep people from racing over and over again. What were we calling that?
Oh, I know what you're trying to say. Like a timer on it.
Like a where you'd be.
It's not getting a word.
Well, yeah, Josh, help me out.
I'm not getting a word. He's not listening either. So,
so we were talking about early on in our early shows.
I was reading the chat and reading the tutorial.
Early in our early shows where we would have a hangover or a holdover from races to keep them. What word am I looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue.
A hiatus.
Whatever. You guys get my point.
We understand it, but for some reason we
are these seeds gonna essentially do that? Because of the regeneration, slow, medium, fast. So, because we mentioned off air, our bird's going to be running without the feed and probably not a lot. And so, if you've got a bird that likes this fast growing seed that it can be utilized over and over, they're going to have a chance to run more often than say.
So,
however, there's seeds, a lot of stuff to get into here. So on that note,
I don't think you just feed them this oat, right? You have to make things
that grows
with
it.
them.
Yeah.
Yep. This grows it
like 5 different ingredients or something along. I'll get into that, but like,
shit.
So crops after your seed, there's a bunch there. There's slow growing ones that are not any type of world specific. It looks like a lot of the medium ones are land
World
specific.
Yeah, all of them are, which I find kind of interesting. And then the fast and slow are not. So
right. So
yeah.
I do kind of like that actually.
Yeah.
So crops, after your seed is grown, you can harvest it to obtain crops. Crops are an NFT, and one seed will yield multiple crops. Crops are primarily used for making food, and each crop belongs to one of 5 different types. So you got your 5 basic food groups. you got your base, determines the type of food and the effect it will have. Factor makes the food more effective under certain conditions.
04.
04, yeah.
Typo.
Flavor affects the flavor of the food. Apparently, your chicken has a food palate, and it will take advantage. If the chicken likes the flavor, the food is more effective. Additives increases the life expectancy of the food, but not your chicken, in my opinion. When a food expires, it's affected and lessened. And sweetener increases the calorie count of the food, so fattening them up, I'm assuming, affecting the number of races the food is effective. So, what?
We just couldn't see what you were reading. There we go.
Oh, no.
So yeah, this next part here is kind of interesting because it's telling us all the different crops and their different uses, and this is where it really starts to break down into the strategy game of it. And yeah, I saw Alarad was saying like it's a lot and maybe even too much. And there is a lot here. And I agree. Like we going through all of this, the basic rundown here is like, there's food that is better for the different terrains and then the different distances, and then actually makes more effective relations for weapon, magic, spirit, technology ones. Like, yeah.
I have to imagine that there will be boost races and there will be non-boost races.
I imagine there's going to be some people that just farm and don't ever race.
Because I mean,
but how do you get the seeds if you don't do that?
Where
See,
you
that's
can
the
set
thing.
up, what?
I guess I'm confused.
We were all
what do you mean?
talking at the same time.
How do you get the seeds if you don't do that?
Well, they said earlier, racing is one of the ways you can get seeds. So
one of the ways you can get seeds, but you can still own land and just farm it all day and sell those crops to the ones of us that don't want to take the time.
It gives the average player the option to just buy one. You could buy a chicken, you could race it, you could get certain seeds. I imagine you may get different seeds by racing on different terrains, right? Think about that. So if you're just the average player and you don't own any land, there is the public lands out there, so you could take your seeds that you've earned from racing, take it to the public land and put it in the public plot and go back and harvest it and make your own boosts. I imagine that's just where my brain goes, knowing that there's public land and earning from racing. That's where I feel like it takes in the early adopter type, not early adopter, but the first time chicken buyer, and that gets them into that part.
I think here's what I think. I think everybody that enters a paid race is going to be rewarded a seed from that track. The winners are going to get the payout, but everybody's going to get a seed for entering a paid race.
Or at least something that moves up to it. Yeah.
Or whatever.
You get maybe you get extra seeds for winning, or,
Yeah, maybe you get money and 3 seeds or whatever.
Right.
So I am seeing in the chat, the talk of like if the boost like adds like a 1 to 3% impact, like Wham was saying, and it doesn't change too much. Yeah. And what's interesting is that when you really look at this, like when you look at these first 3 ones, oats, wheat, hops, and coffee beans, they're pretty straightforward. The oats makes an energy bar, which improves chicken's performance. I would imagine that's a marginal improvement. Is it just an overall improvement? Just a marginal, sandwiches, a better chance of using their talent. Again, marginal.
I like the beer one.
Evade the talent. That's cool because they're probably wobbly, especially if they actually look wobbly, and that's why they evade a talent. That would be great.
This next one is what got me and made my wheels start turning up top here.
They tipped us on something here.
Yeah,
on purpose.
The coffee beans obviously will make coffee, which increases the chicken's inconsistency.
Makes
them more likely to finish high or low in positioning.
So
it basically, it confirms birds is inconsistent.
Well, if you have a good chicken that's a good farmer, right? I think that's going to yield better crop. Is that what we said? Have we mentioned that yet?
All them A-shaped birds out there,
right? And that's coming. Yeah,
them consistent farmers,
right.
But even those that are
hope.
It says no, they're going to make them more inconsistent.
Where's his straw hat and Suspenders.
The ones you want to give that to seems to be like those that are consistently bad that you're going to throw them in to give them a chance to win. But why would you want to run those consistently bad ones? And why would you want to make your good birds more inconsistent?
Well, here's the thing. I think one of my best birds is an inconsistent bird because they're an absolute U. It's very easy to get. Like, they never spend too much time in S. As soon as they get the S, they're out of there. Sometimes they will just even
So
on
you
their
think
best
that's
track.
an
the other thing.
inconsistent.
Yeah.
I just had this pop into my head, and it's weird, not weird, but like, so and this is my question. Nope. Do the inconsistent birds have different? Are there? So they like say, they do say that there is, each chicken has a terrain preference and there is the distance preference. But what if the terrain preference on the inconsistent birds are all about the same range, yet you've got your preference on distance, which a lot of my good U-shaped type birds, they aren't just good at one terrain. I can run 180 on a lot of different terrains, and those birds are good. Is that what the inconsistency kind of another key there? Like, does that kind of tip of?
I think it just means that when that dice roll happens, they just, it's I kind of look at it. I know this is super simplistic, but Mario Party had all the different characters have different dice rolls, and their dice blocks are different. And when you use Bowser, it's like 7, 8, 9 for the good ones, or -3 coins, -3 coins, -1, like spaces.
Or
like
wedge.
it's one or the other. It's amazing or it's terrible. And then there's other ones that are just like 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That's like the worst dice block. I never want to use that one. Like, and they're all different like that. So and that's an oversimplification, but that's the kind of way I see it, is that when it's an inconsistent bird, it just, where is that percentage leaning to in that moment? When the bird's not feeling it that day, it's probably got a way better shot of just being completely inconsistent in the wrong direction, and maybe that's the right time to downclass the bird. Because I've actually noticed my best U birds, they kind of tell me what they want to do. And I know that's kind of a weird thing. Like, if I just race them normally, they will still get 12ths on their best terrain and distance if they're not feeling it, because it's an inconsistent U bird.
So Fledge says Wedge is an A-shaped lizard with machete. She was born for this.
Yeah.
Listen, man,
Perfect.
my Black 94 Sarama is also a machete, so she's also ready to do some farming.
Right.
Anyways.
Like Wham said the same thing. My U birds do as they please. They tell you what they want to do.
Inconsistent birds have the best ROI.
And I was completely just like, I didn't understand it, but then it helped me kind of figure something out earlier. And not to navel gaze too much here, but Andromeda, which is the 91 Sultan, and yes, it's striped, and yes, it's moving walkway, and yes, it is alienized, but it found its way into A class, which it typically doesn't do very well in, and it won a 200 track, and then it won a 200 dirt, and it was up against 99s, 98s, and 100s. And won, and it just and then that bird was just on a ridiculous heater for a few races, and it was back down again. And that's inconsistent, crazy roll.
Dark Star was in S.
I think stripes may mean inconsistency, if you want to know the truth.
Maybe it does. I mean, maybe that's
because I've noticed that a lot of my stripes are pretty inconsistent as well.
It's very possible.
So
it's very possible.
So yes, as you can see on the screen here, the different types of crops that we've been going over in the Chicken Derby tutorial, you can find that on the Chicken Derby website. The next thing you get into is the factors. So you have your 4 different bases. You have factors now, and there are a number of factors. These are all different terrains. So you got all the 7 different terrains, short, medium, and long distance race factors. Makes food more effective in relation to weapon-based talents, magic-based talents, spirit-based talents, and technology-based talents. There's sage. These are the flavors. They add flavor to the food, so that's where your chicken will eventually have a palate.
Right.
And sweetener increases the calorie count, making it last for more races, and the life expectancy of the food itself.
What is the difference between a spirit-based talent and a magic-based talent? Do you guys know?
Well, that's interesting. Magic obviously when we see magic, I think that's pretty clear with
Cold spell.
cold snap being magic.
Cold snap, I mean.
Spirit-based talent. Didn't
Yeah,
someone
I need to
say
look
that
at them
fan
now.
group is all just like in the chicken's head, and the fans are actually ghosts? I think
That's funny.
that
Well,
sounds
spirit
like a
based. I mean,
Spiver. That sounds
or
like
like
a
spirit,
Spiver
like team
tinfoil.
spirit, like team spirit. Like I guess I can see that. You know,
Did they
like,
name those out? Did they name them like that? I guess they say they're on the talent page now.
What's that?
They're listed with weapon, magic, and spirit and technology.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
So it's all there.
are they?
Mhm.
I'm gonna look.
It'll probably, you know what? That's the thing too. When the marketplace shows up, I think we're getting a lot more detail on this kind of things, including
Yeah,
I
they
know
do.
I
There
know it's
are
a little bit
weapons. So Anvil is a weapon. Blue Rooster is magic.
right.
Chicken
Makes
Appalled
sense.
technology, CK-47 weapon, technology
Right.
for Cooper. Flight is spirit. So
He's got spirit.
here,
Yeah,
all in here.
he's feeling it. Yeah.
Growth is magic. Machete is a weapon, obviously. Rollerblades is spirit. Teleporter is technology. Blue Egg is weapon, obviously. Dig is spirit as well. Fan Group is spirit. Helicopter weapon. Jetpack technology. Rare talents, magic. Cold Snap, Devo magic. Moving walkway technology, black hole magic, and
Seems pretty
spirit
fit, yeah.
for royal procession. Okay.
Makes sense.
All right. Let me go back.
And now I do think this is an interesting thing. Is Spiver is saying that this is going to make new players feel like the learning curve is too hard, and the learning curve is definitely going to be tricky here. But I mean, racing is a pretty simple game. So far, most of NFT gaming is pretty simple. But if we're looking to start creating, like I know buying like Elden Ring or what's the other insane one that I forget? Even when you get like a Red Dead Redemption or a new game, there's a whole new set of machinations you need to learn.
Challenging can be a selling point.
That's what the game is. Like, yeah, I know it kind of turns some people off that it's like, oh, I can't just sit here and raise chickens. But once you get it, it could actually be kind of fun because this strategy, I like the fact that now, like, yes, everyone's going to get a boost, but you have to pick the right one.
Well, that's
to
that point right there. You have to pick the right one because I see Ives saying, am I going to do all this? I feel like I need to spend much more time farming, harvesting, planning, all to enter a $1 race. Like, here's my thing, though.
Yeah, that's
Are
a good
you
point.
going to waste that on a $1 race? I don't think I would. I probably wouldn't boost in $1 races, $2 races. The races I'm going to be boosting in are the $5 to up.
Yeah,
that's where I'm using my stuff.
That is a good point.
I get it.
Yeah.
So that's just where I'm at with that. Sorry, just reading the chat.
Yeah, all good.
Chicken farming. So, chicken farming, if you leave your land unattended, then your crops will grow fine. By assigning a chicken to tend to your land, you can increase the yield you gain from your crops. Only one chicken can be assigned to each land. So,
each land plot?
Each land plot. So,
that's why
only a third of the chicken supply can be farming ever at one time.
Right.
Unless they expand land or...
And to me, that's staking. You know, that is their version of staking, and I think it's pretty cool. I think it's an interesting way to do it.
So while it's farming now, it cannot race.
Right. So that's why it's staking in my mind. Yeah.
But they do list staking down there, don't they?
What?
Don't they list actual staking down there?
I'm not sure. The amount of extra crops you gain for having a farm chicken is based on the following factors. Consistency. A 10% to 20% yield. Crops must be regularly tended to and cared for, and consistent chickens are best for this. Inconsistent chickens can still give a boost to your crops, but not as much as those consistent chickens. So your ratios are safe. It sounds like the way I read this.
Fledge says it doesn't say plot, it says land, and you're right. I'm under the impression there that they meant per plot, and that's how they looked at it. Because like if it is just per land, like per the act, like it seems like it's not.
What does that even mean?
Right. So
what does per land even mean?
But we need
per
clarification.
One land piece.
There's only 7 lands.
Yeah, we definitely need clarification on per land plot. I hope it's land plot because that makes so many more chickens way more valuable.
It's got to be land plot.
Yeah. So crops regularly tended to, Inconsistent chickens, give it a boost. Went on to that. World bonus, 20% yield. You want your chicken to feel at home and comfortable to get the best from them. So different chickens prefer different worlds, and assigning the right one to your land can make a big difference. So the cool thing about this, you don't have to discover that. They laid it all out right here in a simple, for the most part. So the different type of worlds, we got colors like different comb and wattles, different base coats, different beaks, the vampires, the eye patches. They've all got their own different thing here. There's a machete and dig bonus, so some of the talents the chickens have also come with a farm bonus, so 10% yield if you have those two talents farming. You need the right tools for the job, and the chickens with talent machete or dig are just better equipped to be farmers. So having one of these on your land will yield more crops. The final yield, all of these are then combined to boost the final yield from your crops. Depending on the chicken you assigned, your yield can be from 10% to plus 50%. That's pretty good. Damn, do I got more? Food. Energy bar. They got some art here already of the energy bar. So by cooking with crops, you can make food NFTs, which can be fed to a chicken to help them perform better during races. There will be 4 types of food to start with. The energy bar, the sandwich, beer, and coffee. And we went over what those do. The traits, didn't we? This is just a little more detailed. Your food does expire, it says here.
Right.
Traits, when food is made, it has the following traits: type, name, flavor, calories, and best before. So there is an expiration date on your food once you make it.
But I believe you can use like salts and additives and whatnot to try to extend it. But I like that because it kind of cuts back on the idea that people that can just pay and hoard and hold. Yeah. You got to make sure that hoarding doesn't just get completely become like the driving factor of it. So it does put a time frame on it.
Sold crops come into play. Is that best before date from the time that the crop was harvested, or does the cell reset that?
Have a date. It's the food itself that's made.
The food, yes.
Them.
Once the food is created,
Right.
Now,
can you sell food?
Yes, and this is what I'm.
Or do you just sell crops to make food?
I think you can probably sell it all.
Yep.
And here's what I'm getting at on this one. I think that it sounds, all of this is kind of driving our heads all over the place because we're just reading things. It's like going over, looking at a complicated breakdown of how to make something. But then once you actually start getting the pieces in your hands,
right,
and you start seeing the way it comes together, you'll start to understand it. Yeah. And once we have the marketplace, it'll all be click and go. It won't be like this crazy algorithm we need to figure out. It'll all be like, hey, take these, make this. And it's like, okay. And once you have that, you'll start to figure that part out. I think it'll be a lot easier once we have the marketplace. All this stuff's going to be easier once we have the marketplace because you're going to actually be able to see all of this and put it together. And it's like, okay, I want to make beer. I need these things to make beer. Oh, crap, I don't have that one. So I either need to grind or pay for it. I mean, I think in the end, it seems really complicated, but it's just that. It once we see it on the site, I think it'll be a lot easier to understand.
Does it slow racing down?
I don't think
Possibly.
So.
I don't
I don't know.
Because you're going to take the time to, if you're going to go with the grinding route rather than the buying route,
that's
you're
why
going to grind for however many days to get your whatever you need and then race your race that you're thinking about.
That's why I feel like there should be no boost type races and boost races, because boost races are going to fill at their rate, whether, the people that have the stuff already made and ready to go, they're going to fill those races. But then the non-boost people aren't going to want to get into a lot of those races. So if they don't have that stuff, so I feel like you need to have both. I think you need to have both available in cheap form and
customizable. Make this
both
super
need to be
customizable.
the same type of ARG, but one with boost and one without.
I still love the idea
both get utilized. Maybe take away some of each pay range of races, not have so many. You don't need 4 or 5 different $6 to $10 races. You could split that in half and put one in boost section and one in, or a couple in. You know what I mean?
One thing that's also been thrown around is the idea that the chick races, the 7 chick races, good concept, but I think we all can kind of come together and say they don't really make a lot of sense. They don't really help.
I'm about done with free races too. If people keep cheating on them.
Oh yeah, I know that's back again. It's frustrating that now they're getting
I don't
botted again.
I don't see the thing that pops up, the little click the box.
Yeah. So, but yes, the frustrating thing about the chick races is that like I have 100 dorking. I don't want to run those because they're just gonna win, and then my pop's gonna go up. And I'm trying to make
my 99 still has like 3 or 4 chick races.
Yeah, and then it's like A through S kind of tweener. Like I don't want to do that and just that. He's gonna. That's the thing about it. The first race I did run with it won, and it was up against a bunch of 90s and 93s. It's all random, so it's like it's an imperfect system there. So I would love to see a rookie league or a beginners league or something where it's more than just 7 races, where you can run those. I mean, DraftKings has it where literally at a point you can. The people that have entered X amount of contests cannot enter those contests.
Hey, you know what? That's a good thing to give to people that don't get the land airdrop, that haven't ran enough races. They're in that pre-category that racing with all the newer people that they get the hang of it. Yeah.
And maybe that's where you can't do boosts. Maybe that's not for boosting yet. That's just for discovery, because we're going to need something for just discovery. And I know we've heard a lot of things talked about when people get their stadiums and they can set up free races. Maybe you can choose when you set up a race if boosts are in or not. I would like that. So it's a tricky, and then of course maybe if you do decide to enter a standard ARG race, it has boosts, and you just have to know that. But yeah, again, we've been given a ton of information here, and it is making a lot of people's heads spins. But we need more, so we'll just keep trying to parse through this as we figure it out, because there is a lot here, but I do think it's going to get easier to understand once we see it on the marketplace, and I do hope that's coming very soon.
I think what's cool about this, though, honestly, though, if you think back and take a step back and like zoom out a little bit and just like take broad picture of the entire worlds and its use case and its utility and how you make this a game, right? And a game of skill, for that matter. I mean, think of all these different things. Like when they go into the base and factors and flavor and calories, every little different thing that you do does something different to the meal that you're making, and does something different for like a different terrain, different distance, different everything. Like it says here, the factors improve the effectiveness of the food for different situations. Adding apples to an energy bar makes it more effective on grass. An apple energy bar will still give you a small boost when running on snow, but a larger one when running on grass. So you change that up with a different thing of carrots or something, and it's different for that. Right? That's the thing, is what's fun is like you can kind of mix and match and try different things. The other thing is like some people may think that they just kind of threw all this together, or that they just came up with this overnight.
Oh, this is some deep diving stuff.
This is something that they have had well thought out, I feel like, for a while. I feel like this was a big part of the big picture of their envisionment of a game when they first started. If you go back to the original Crypto Poppy interview with Apex, talked about how their envisionment was of an open world game, first and foremost, of doing farming type stuff like this and having side games, mini games like chicken races, and then they're like, oh, that's funny, chicken races, and ran with it. This still feels very much like the vision they originally had from the get-go. And like I said, if you read through this is not something that they just came up with yesterday or last week. This is, they've been thinking about this.
You don't come up with episode in a few days.
Dude, I just feel like this is something that they have been working on and thinking through, processing, and how to make it work with the game for a while now.
There's a massive unlock potential for this game from land if it's done properly, especially if there's, the extra mini games and stuff are put in. Like I'm all for it. We do need to make sure that racing stays, that's why the core came here. So we still need to make sure racing is focused on and attainable and filling and volume. Like there's one thing the whole community is always yelling for, it's volume, but we just need incentives for it, and we need more than anything. We need more racers.
One
and
thing
I know
I'll
that's
say,
part. Go, Blake.
well, all these things that we've talked about so far, they all lead into racing. So we're building all this food.
right.
We're not building this food because your chickens, they're going to race.
That's the thing, though. If you think about it, like if you have an open world game and you originally were thinking of, well, I want to make an open world game and I want people to be able to mingle around to other communities and farm, do all this stuff, there still needs to be a use case for that.
Right.
And when they pivoted to racing, it was like, okay, well, now we're going to do racing and we still want to do the open world game, but how do we pivot these two into one thing? Well, all of the farming and everything, I mean, it only makes sense to make it boosts or whatever it is to do to chickens for the game. You have to imagine that once we get to a point of breeding, even that this even expands even further, because that's something that's not even discussed in here about it. Because in that, and I understand that it's something that is very far away in our heads, right? We would think that we would hope that breeding isn't until later on, well down the line, when you've got a massive user base coming in here and they're marketing like crazy, and then it's like, all right, the demand is here, let's start giving them the demand. But I would have to think that once you get there, this is going to exponentially grow much larger, because I feel like you could go a whole different route with that, of mixing and matching different foods to get different types of chickens when breeding. All those factors. Maybe you could even pick and choose types of, like, if I feed my bird this and then take it to the breeding pen, can I make a bird that's good at dirt and 120? Like, make my racer.
So I just thought of something. I think I think this food's going to take a couple of days to create, it sounds like, right? Like
it's all going to be different.
They're going to, it may be.
Well, the making of the food might not take long, but amassing everything.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think there might be a marketplace for created food, because if you're going to be growing yours, or however many days it takes to get all the contents together for what you're wanting to make. But if there's one out there in the market for $5 and you're about to enter a $20 race, people might be willing to.
Well, yeah. That's the other thing.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, and that is the comeback to, if you split up the races and have boosts or non-boosts, because if you've got a market where you can buy the boosts, what's the one way to drive people to go buy the boost, and that is make them all boost or no boost. You know what I mean? That's like, I guess that I didn't think about that part of it, but I don't know. I still think you should have
Sydney,
either or.
Well, so Sid says here, talking about farming, it's like, I feel like farming is going to create an economy on their marketplace for food, rather than being like a playable, fun part of the game that people will enjoy. It's all for racing. It's all, at the end of the day, for racing. So I still like that. I still don't see it as a side game, which I know the chat was having some worries about.
I still think people are going to get addicted to that checking in on your farm, just like they do. Like, what is
that's mobile gaming? Yeah, that's
we still go back to that. Like, what is their use case for all their farm or all their stuff that they coins?
An upgraded barn.
Right.
Like a slightly cooler hat for your farmer. Like, it's
well, Greg Dalvin brings up a good point. What if you're cooking and there should be a small chance to fail, where you use the ingredients and receive nothing as a burn mechanism, or even like maybe, like it said, the chicken has a flavor sense and it has preferences. So if you feed a chicken something that it doesn't like, what if it makes it worse for a day or something? I think that would be kind of funny.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Or they eat something bad and it changes taste buds to where it enjoys something else for the day. Like, eat some bad mushrooms.
Stop bossing people around in the chat, Wham. He's bullying people. There's no news yet on the snapshot for land. Get out of here. Sorry. But that's we do need to clean up a few things here. Let's get one race in tonight. They were talking about getting one nice race in. There is and Wham threw it out there, so I'll indulge him. I'll take him on. That's fine. There is a C 120 dirt 787. If we want to fill
Probably
that,
can't do it live because I'm not set up for that.
Oh, good job. Okay.
Well, you didn't tell me that.
I didn't. No. We can fill it anyway.
I'm not racing.
What is it?
We can fill it anyway. C120 dirt, just to get something going. C120 dirt, $7. Just to get something racing.
You really fell into Wham's trap?
Oh, I fell in because I have something to go against them.
Are you feeding it the right food today?
We'll see. I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know if they've been fed well. I don't know. They haven't raced in a while.
Maybe they've been.
What's he putting in?
Maybe they've been fed this whole time on the back end and we just don't know it.
He doesn't have a bird in yet.
Yes, he does. He fucking threw Benny in.
Is Benny in? Okay, yeah. Of course Benny's in.
Yeah.
He's a snake. We love him.
As he's been talking in the chat, oh, Benny can't win in C class. I have a feeling he's gonna win here.
And while we have everyone here, we are giving away a bird tonight. I did want to. He is a member of the Chicken Derby Ambassadors. He's been making some new videos. I know Apex brought him in at Very Fried, which looks like verified, but Very Fried is his channel. We're actually I'll send out a tweet and drop it in the announcements when we throw this in there. All they're asking is to check out their YouTube, check out their content at Very Fried. I'll make sure I throw that out there. Follow them on Twitter. They've donated a 96 Lakenvelder to be given away tonight as part of a tweet that they threw out just to try to get their platform kind of a little bit of a boost. So I will actually drop that. I will drop that in the Coop Collective chat now, and I'm going to also do it the way we do it with our stealth drops. I'll find the right spot to drop this in, and then we'll all jump in there and try to win this bird. It is again, it's sitting in my wallet right now. I can actually double check exactly what it is, but I do believe it is a 95 Lakenvelder. I think it's named Bad Egg, which could be worse. That's for sure. Although there has been, of course, whispers again about possible mechanics for changing names, which I'd like. This is a machete talent. It's actually a 96 Lakenvelder machete talent, so you get that boost for farming. So that's kind of cool. 96 Lakenvelder. And let me go ahead.
They should have a golden land plot where there's only one plot of land where you can go and change a bird's name. And it's $5. And whoever gets that plot of land gets everybody's bird name changed.
So one person gets $5 every time they change
whoever.
Name?
Yeah, just random.
Jesus.
It's like insanity. It's like there was the number one chicken, right?
Yeah.
Are we going to be hooting and hollering over number one land? Is that going to be more expensive than the other lands?
I don't know. It depends on what number one land ends up being. Is it the most rare? Is it the best?
So I think we have a golden land drop. Just one land.
All right. I just filled that C race for some
Shanron is ready to
I
go.
doubled up because I'm an idiot.
Jeez. he gets angry about Benny being in. He's like, I'm going to throw two. Screw him. 96 Lakenvelder. I'm getting this typed in now.
I'll take one for the team. I'll send you my wallet address after the race, Wham.
All right. I am dropping the giveaway in.
I'm curious how this
Stock
is going
Talk.
to work.
We're going to Stock Talk. 3 minutes on this one, guys. 3 minutes.
Stock Talk?
Stock Talk is where this is.
Stock.
Yeah, Stock Talk.
It's like
yeah.
Stock.
Stock Talk. I like saying it like that. Stock Talk. Yeah.
Stack Talk.
96 Lakenvelder from at Very Fried, and I'm also going to drop their YouTube channel and whatnot. Let's spread some love. I know they want to start doing more content around the game and create a little following there. So appreciate the bird, appreciate the giveaway and the shout out, and it is live. Hop in there. It's in Stock Talk. It is already 9 entries. You guys are quick. 96 Lakenvelder from at Very Fried. Thank you very much, my friend, for dropping that to us today. And I'm going to get that link dropped into the main chat as well.
So the 120C race is underway. So I'm not set up for it, so I can't play it.
Good luck, guys.
Yeah. I could maybe try it, but it's probably going to be really slow.
Want me to just do like a play-by-play when I'm watching it? Oh, God, it's a BAWK.
Oh, who?
Too late, Josh.
It was a BAWK from Clucking Hideout. Crazy J balked.
Oh, good.
Bathtub Gin. Jeez. Oh, Black Hole.
Oh, that's me.
Horizon drops the Black Hole.
Hang on. I'm fixing this.
Oh, you're going to watch it? No,
there it is.
Drops the Black Hole.
I'll fix this.
He's like, oh, now that you said Black Hole. Oh,
I was working on it. I'm working on
He's
it.
almost got it there.
There we go. It's slow as hell.
It is. But...
It is crawling. There's that black hole.
Up here comes a chicken a poult.
Radio style announce it. I don't know. I may have to do it real slow-mo because this is
chicken a poult from the Clucking Hideout takes the lead. Event Horizon still stuck in second place. We have a two-bird race here. Bathtub Gin is taking a little bit of run here. We have two birds now.
It's playing.
I'm doing the radio style race.
You're also like 40 meters ahead.
I know. The Event Horizon is dying off. Here comes a jetpack from Nova Rova, but dies off quickly. Clucking Hideout, CJ the DJ Butterman still hanging in first place. Bathtub Gin coming in with 20 meters to go. We have All Stars, the boy. We have Benny. No, not Benny. Get out of there, Benny.
Oh, way ahead. Yeah.
And this is going to. Oh no! Stop it! Stop it! It's a close one. I don't know. Bathtub Gin actually got a podium there, Josh.
Yeah.
This is going to be between CJ the DJ and Benny.
Of course it is.
Yeah, suck it, Wham. You didn't get the win. It was the BAWK bird with the victory. I've spoiled it. Josh, you did not get your money back from putting two birds in. Net -2.
That's all right. $2 loss is better than a $7 loss. At least I got to see my black hole go off, which has been forever. Yeah, it's still going.
I just jumped back to the stream.
It's still going. Still crawling.
Not optimized today for that.
No, wasn't ready for the stream or wasn't ready for the races. Thought we were going
1 second to go on the giveaway. And the bird, now it says 5 seconds. It's counting up. Why is it counting up? We get to see
this crazy finish.
Going to, oh, come on. Whamola won it.
Whamola won it? Well, congrats.
I'm not giving it to you, Wham.
Whatever. Yes, I'm playing this on a flip phone. You got a problem with that? No,
congrats to Wham.
I normally have a setup with two separate computers just because it's more optimized while streaming live, and this just ain't it.
Oh my god, it's still going.
Oh, it's still going. We got 5 meters to go. We get to see this exhilarating finish in super slow motion.
I love that my bird did great.
Third. Yeah, Clucking Hideout. Benny.
Goodness. Screw you, Wham.
Yeah. So Wham just won another bird to beat our asses on every stream. Cool.
Yes. Yep. Won a bird and won $26 in the race.
So when he calls out C race for some 96 lack, we know who it is.
Yeah, we're calling it next time. All right. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We got a lot of more to get to that we'll kind of just, piece it out as we go. We need some information on the land drop and where we're going from there. In the end, I just want to stress that this community is awesome, and we are. I know so many of us are longing this game, but we still. I think the community still has that sentiment of satiated for the moment, but on edge. We still feel we need to know a little bit more. We need the communication to go up a little bit better, to feel more comfortable. And, I still feel like a lot is hinging on the details they're going to give us for this drop and the price and everything. So
the reality is we're a pretty opinionated group. The core group is pretty opinionated and, everybody has their own kind of ways of what they want to see happen. But I think if they can just, again, I say it's down to two things, timing and then the pricing. If both of those are right, I think it's going to go smooth.
Yep.
So.
And I really would love to see a very advantageous pricing for those that have the races in there. And I really would like to see people have the opportunity to push towards the race and push towards that outcome and actually get a chance to pump a little bit of volume through this thing. So, because we got some community-based tournaments that are going right now and will be going over the next few weeks. I think White Beat Gang started up soon. We got something with D3 we're doing a little bit for our 548 holders and for D3 subscribers. I know that's coming. So yeah, we're putting it out there. So I'll be curious to see how the how everything is going right now. So
yeah,
man.
Well, I think that is it for us. I feel like we kind of went over land. We talked about all the possibilities with food. Still not sure when that drop's going to be. I would think it's going to be postponed for a little while, but yeah, we will be back next week, and hopefully we'll get some more information this week on Friday. We'll see. We'll see out on the tracks. We'll see all the shit talk from everybody in Wham. Anyways, White Beat Gang starts in 38 minutes. Thank you, dude.
There you go.
All right, yeah. So we will see you guys next week. We are Cock Talk, and good night. Oh yeah.
See ya.
See ya.
Check out our Twitter.
Like and subscribe.
Like
Do
and
all that.
subscribe and be cool. And
Buy a barn.
buy a barn, maybe. You know.
One of those things.
Fucking wham.